We are live in YouTube. Oh, do you have your glasses?
I do.
Okay, let me grab mine. Da-da-da-da. All right. Oh, do you have your Here we are on YouTube. What
On
up,
you.
gang? Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
All right, word. Did you call in on
Oh,
Instagram? I
wait.
might have missed it.
Call.
Cause sometimes it's like really easy to miss because it just like pops up for a second. It's like,
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. Okay, I'll request in. Did it? I feel like I'm in a very hummy morning. I feel
Hummy?
a hummy, yeah, like a singy morning. I feel like I'm gonna just sing all my answers. Really, I just can't stop like humming this morning.
Oh,
What's
one
up?
second. I'm being really bad at doing this. There we go.
Ooh,
Okay, cool.
he has new hair. What's up, Sax Gang? It's office hours time. What time? The hour of office. Yes.
Yo, my phone is broken. I'm just gonna have to admit it now. It's broke. It just won't. It won't go to zero volume.
Really?
It won't. Yeah, it won't go to zero volume.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Um, are you guys hearing an echo on Leo's and either of our devices? You hear an echo? What's up, Giero? Oh, I hear that too. I can try to put the phone further away. We're on YouTube and on Instagram. Oh, they hear an echo.
All
Uh,
right, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a second, people.
okay, okay.
Give me a second.
Just your Kel. Oh yeah, I think. Well, Leah's gonna work on that.
Let me
You,
see if this works.
yeah, YouTube. You guys are probably fine on the tube, right?
People good in the tube? Is that okay? Yeah, it
Hi,
won't like
Kong.
my it just won't go to zero volume, but
Whiz boots. Yo, my
okay.
sexy people. What's up, Emma? Hi, Tiana. I'm gonna
Okay.
get my.
We're,
How's Did that fix it?
I think
George.
so. Are we good?
How's that, Sax Gang? Did we fix it? Echo? Okay, hearts. I think that we are good. Pohair. Okay, I gotta get my glasses.
Okay.
Because it's time for the office. Oh, 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 we both got hats. Yes.
Well, yeah, I picked up my hat because.
I love that.
All
It's a
right.
vibe. I was looking at some of our past photos of like when we did that Western video a long time ago, and
Oh
we
yeah.
both in hats, and then I got inspired.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Woo! Oh God, these are dirty.
Yeah,
Welcome to
mine's super dirty too.
welcome to Office Hours, everybody. I know we haven't been with you for a second, but we are back today. Thanks for joining us, and I know we had a last minute reminder to all of you. We are going to do a Q&A office hour hangout this time round. Um, Definitely encourage all of you to send in your 1 minute video clips for future office hours, but we figured this would be a nice one to just kind of take a second and dive more into questions. So if you have questions, you can send them in into Saxy's Q&A button, and we can kind of go through them. And yeah, be a good time to just catch up. Also, Leo, I love your new hair.
Oh, thank you.
What
Yes.
inspired this? It's like purple, blue.
Yeah. Well, I'm dating this girl now. Ever
Ooh.
since uh May, June? No, ever since June, maybe. And she's purple hair, so I want to match.
That's so cute. Did
Yeah.
you check with her about that before? Or is that like something you both were like, oh, let's do this together?
I
Or
It
was
was a
she now
surprise,
like, whoa,
but
you have purple too?
she mentioned she mentioned that she always wanted to have like matching hair with like in like a couple. You know, she
Oh,
had mentioned that, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then when I went to get my hair dyed, she was like, what color are you doing? I'm like, oh, it'll be a surprise. But
that's so cute. So you got the hint.
yeah.
So, Sax Gang, you guys ever do a matchy matchy with someone? I mean, I have to say, I was really into us having red and black at the same time and taking
We
photos.
had match. We
That
were
was
matchy
so
matchy.
cool.
That
There's,
was cool. That was very
yeah,
cool.
it's like the synchronized, when you do synchronized moves and you have like same color schemes, looks awesome.
Yeah.
But as far as the couples thing, I remember at one point saying to Pasha, I'm like, I want to go into a coffee shop and have the same glasses, or at least the same style glasses. So when I got my new glasses, which I usually wear contacts, but um, I got like the same shape as him because I don't know, I was just like, that's so cute. Just
But the question is, will Pasha dye his hair red?
that is a good question. I don't know.
I I actually picture Pasha with pink, to be honest.
With pink. All right. Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
think we can get the message to him, and I would love to see him in pink. That would be shocking.
I think like a light pink would be really cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll pass your message on. You definitely know your colors. Did you freeze? Uh-oh.
I think
Oh, you're back. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Now you're back. You good. All right. So, hey, before we get into questions, everybody, we wanted to take a quick moment to shout out our friends at Geek. Oh, sorry, let me try that again. I had a cup of coffee this morning and I feel like I didn't. Okay. We want to shout out our friends at Geekbeat Radio. They're celebrating 10 years and they were so kind to help promote our appearance with the 8-bit big band rockin' video game music classics back when we performed our debut two Saxy performance at the Berkeley Performance Center in Boston. And they're celebrating 10 years. Um, their channel is everything about geek, nerd, discussion, music, news. I know they love some VGM classics. So, hey, you guys, super, super congrats on 10 years. That's awesome.
Congrats.
And
Thanks for
we had
helping
such,
us.
yeah, and we had such, I mean, like, talk about a debut performance for two Saxy playing the Pokemon theme song. That was like the most fun. And then the pandemic kind of started shortly after, but it was epic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like I actually remember I was in the airport coming home from that show and like seeing a bunch of people with masks and being like, "Wow, that's weird." Like so many people are wearing masks in the airport. I didn't actually even really know why. I was like, "Isn't there some type of thing going around?" Like
Yeah, I wasn't
I
caught up
remember that
with
was
it at that point. I think I was just kind of in my own world.
yeah, I was
Things, yeah.
like
Hmm.
I was definitely starting to be like, "What's up?" Like this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
We were both sprinting so hard to get that, like, just preparing for the show, and then you guys should have seen us in the dressing room, like, just changing into different costumes and putting on wigs.
yeah.
And it was a great show. It was like a whirlwind because we rehearsed the day before and then we went for it. Oh, Geek Beat Radio is on live with us on Instagram. That's awesome. Congrats, you guys. 10 years. Love it. Um,
Yeah.
Special
Yeah,
memory.
the the Mortal Kombat theme song that I did with 8-bit. I I put it up and I really should promote it more, but I like put it up on my YouTube. I literally didn't promote it or say anything about it. And it's been like the fastest moving like video as far as views I've ever had
It's
on my channel.
awesome. I
It
mean, you
has
like nailed that.
thanks.
Raw.
I didn't feel that way, but thank you.
I think that raw energy was like, and a few people on Instagram were saying they were there. That's so cool. Mr. Mouse was there. I just feel like you went out and you had the cape and your raw energy was like, rawr, rawr.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like should you not like as an artist, should you not tell people that you thought you didn't do a good job? Like should you not even mention it? Because like, don't you want them to like live in their like world of how they like it? Like I've kind of decided as an artist, it doesn't really matter what your opinion is as much as it matters what the fans' opinions are. Like it doesn't if you're like there's tons of times people are like, oh, I hate that. Oh, who's being interviewed? The guy who did "She's My Cherry Pie," dun, 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 and a sweet surprise. And it was this really big hit. Um, and he was like, I hate that song so much. He's like, it's like I hate playing that song. I hate is this a song Cherry Pie is like is his almost his only famous song, and he's like, I hate everything about it. I hate that I'm like the cherry pie guy, like
Oh my God.
and anyways, but like it doesn't really matter like how what your opinion is of you in the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, and curious what all of you think who are listening. Um, I feel pretty strongly about when I perform live and people come up to me afterwards and they were like, that was great. I feel really strongly about letting them have their opinion. And I feel like if I said, well, I messed up here, I messed up there, then it's almost like taking their opinion away from them.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, but sometimes in my head I'm like, what? You guys thought that was good? But sometimes it's the songs and the
You
performances that
thought
we
that
don't
was good.
think are good that totally pop off. And people might be seeing something different than we're seeing. But at the same time, I think it's very interesting to hear from artists what they thought about their performance of something, like, after the fact, like a video or something, just because it kind of gives me a different perspective of like, oh yeah, that part I thought was super cool when he did that. He also thought that, or oh, interesting. He thinks like completely the opposite of me. I
Yeah.
don't know. Interesting question.
I I feel like there's almost a fear of admitting you did your best because it's like if you did your best, like that's the very best you could possibly do. It's hard to even like believe that in your head. Like you're always gonna be like, oh well, I had just gone off the plane and I had this and I did this, and it's like a lot. I think an issue with a lot of kids that are doing music is that they don't even want to try because of the the fear of like doing your best and failing, basically.
Mhm.
You know.
How many of you feel like that? This is very interesting. Um, yeah. So wait, you're saying you think there's a lot of students out there that fear doing their best?
Yeah, yeah, because then it's like because like if you don't do your best, you can always be like, "Oh, that wasn't even my best. Like that wasn't even
Oh,
like
like they're
I didn't
holding
even study
back?
that hard." What do you say?
Like they're holding back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Or
I
like,
didn't even like
oh, that's
you
interesting.
know like
Yeah,
when there's people that are like really smart or something and they get pretty good grades on tests. They get like
I didn't
a
study.
95%, but they're like I didn't even like study for that test. I didn't even really, you know what I mean? It's like, well, why not? You definitely would have gotten 100 like, or whatever, but it's like I just feel like in music classes where it's like, oh, I wrote this song like 20 minutes before the class, or like you know what I mean, where it's like I feel like there's just like almost a fear there of like giving your best and like
Hmm.
being like, this is the best I can do, like this is
That-
the best I can do, because
Yeah.
then I don't know if that's accurate, but that's kind of how I felt sometimes when I would under prepare something because it
Yeah.
would just be like, well, at least it's like not like I'm trying my hardest.
Yeah. Max just said, I totally feel that. Admitting you did your best is admitting you couldn't have done better if you tried.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
super fascinating. And it's like, there's almost this weird mental headspace for me of like, if I put so much stress on myself to do my best, then a lot of times it can be debilitating. And then suddenly, instead of having a very natural, present performance, I have all this pressure on myself to make it the best thing ever. And that might be the thing that doesn't make that performance the best.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
totally.
I was yeah, there's a it's like we want to keep pushing the bar higher and higher for ourselves. So if you're suddenly like, well, that was it. That was my best ever. And we're like in our 20s. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna retire now. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, yeah.
fascinating topic.
Yeah, it's just I definitely am learning things that I want to change about myself as like an artist and like look back and be like, this is how I remember, this is how I'm thought of. And that's definitely like I think any type of just like being too hard on yourself, like that was terrible, that was, you know what I mean? I just think it's not who I want to be viewed as like a legend, you know, like 50 years from now or whatever, like how I want everyone to think of me and remember me as an artist. Like, I don't want to like be too like, oh, that wasn't, because there's like sometimes there's like legit like amazing like performances where people are still like, oh, like that was like kind of sharp or that was kind of flat or that was kind of, you know, it's
Yeah,
like you could always find something.
right.
That's what's kind of amazing about music. It's like it's not a robot.
Yeah, and I was watching some of the highlights from the VMA awards the other day on YouTube, and
Uh-huh.
um,
How was that?
well, I only saw clips, and some of them I thought were, I mean, I thought the costumes and the choreography, Lady Gaga went, very far to kind of futuristic land for her Chromatica album, and it was uh it was really interesting, just the costumes, the outfits. I thought Doja Cat actually had a pretty stunning performance. Um, she looked amazing. Her and her dancers were just like so together to me as far as the really pop look with singing and dancing. She kind of stole the show. I was very curious what was up with this year with everyone, not everyone. Doja Cat and the Black Eyed Peas were like lighting up their pelvic areas. I do not understand why the guys at the end of the Black Eyed Peas, they had, that whole area just lighting up, and I didn't really get it. Doja Cat's outfit, I think, looked more like chakras to me. Like she had her pelvic area here, and like it was sparkly and glittery, and I thought it was glamorous and looked great. So that was cool. I didn't really get the guys. I'd be curious to hear your opinion if you looked at their.
Black Eyed Peas was on it. I didn't even know they
Yeah, I
were.
think they were at the end. I'm pretty sure that was Black Eyed Peas who were dancing and singing. And just, I mean, it was really interesting to watch a virtual VMAs with like they had a lot of the audience on the screen, and I couldn't tell if some of the performances were just dubbed or some were live. But then you'd hear the live like audience, and maybe they actually were on Zoom and they took that sound, or maybe they just had dubbing of people clapping and screaming. I mean, I think they did a really good job production wise. But I was gonna say to your point, um, about you can always find something in the performance. Like there was a moment that Lady Gaga went over to her big alien piano and just kind of started free form singing and like saying some motivational stuff. And at one point she's singing and she just starts singing kind of in a different key as she was playing. And to me it was pretty apparent. I don't think she meant to do that. It's probably something that happened with like her ears or in ears or something. But then she still like found her key and then hit the high note, and it's like we all know Lady Gaga can sing, so it's very likely it was just something that she couldn't hear. And I was just thinking, you know, her performance was just, it had so much conviction. It didn't even matter that she started singing in different keys and like kind of hit a different note than the chord. And I know there's probably people that are going to be like, oh, she was so off and blah, blah, blah. But to me, it was like imperfect and so confident that it was like, yeah, whoa, whoa, what? That was just like three different keys at once. But yeah, like, and then she kind of came off the note she was singing, and then she just started speaking some motivational stuff. And so between like singing and hitting some different notes and chords, sounding kind of off, but then she found herself, and then she just started like speaking, and she just walked away from the piano, and I was like, whoa. Cool.
That is cool. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, did anybody watch it? Anybody here see it? I don't know. I gotta look up what other people are saying about Lady Gaga's performance that moment, but I thought it was super bold that she would just go over to that piano and do that. And, sometimes when you're just, I know I can say when I've kind of mess up, the best thing to do, even though it's very counterintuitive, is just like play it even more confidently or just go off in another direction and really improvise in that moment.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys can all get back, and I'm be very curious to hear all of your thoughts about what your favorite performance was. And um, yeah, it was like it just felt like music video after music video the way they did it.
Yeah. I always feel like when I talk about singers to people that like study singing, they're so like, what? Like I'll be like, oh yeah, like I think so and so has such a good voice. They're like, really? Like it's not like that's not a good voice. I'm like, what? Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a thing about vocals where it's like because I don't sing at all, like I feel like there's a bit of the mystery to it that like enables me to totally have like a childlike experience when I listen to people sing. You know what I mean? Because I just don't at all understand it. As opposed to saxophone, where I'm like, oh, he's just playing this and then he's doing that, and it just like it just naturally all these like things come in my head when I hear saxophone players. That makes me be like, you know, whatever. You know, sometimes a little more judgmental of them playing in a good way or bad way or whatever. But
Yeah.
when I hear vocals, it's cool because I'm just like, oh, this is just magic to me.
It's very interesting because I think that I've even heard you comment on some. We were listening to music, and I've heard you comment on some vocal stuff, and you liked it, and I didn't. And but it's very interesting to know. Like at the end of the day, they're just sounds, and we all have our own opinions. And some people who don't play saxophone might love the sound of saxophonists that you or I don't like. But there's totally something to be said of the fact that someone's vocals totally hit you, and to a vocalist, you might know all the perfection of the technical things. They might really not like that person. I remember one, I can't remember exactly the singer who you had pointed out that you liked, but what I didn't like about his singing was technically it sounded so strained.
Yeah,
And like, but that's probably, but the effect that his vocal had and the sound is probably, I mean, I think it was a really popular singer. So you and a lot of
I don't
people,
remember who this is now. I'm so
I
curious.
think if it's one of them, like I remember we were together watching it. Um, yeah, I don't remember. I think it was.
Oh,
It'll come to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's take some
yeah,
questions, you
yeah.
guys. This is really cool. Somebody's saying on YouTube, I found you guys 3 weeks ago, watched hours of your videos. I have always been a guitar player, and now I want a saxophone so badly. That's awesome. Yeah, you should start playing sax back on Hollow.
Yeah, don't be scared to try your best.
Yes.
um, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's not like I should say saxophone just has a very the learning curve is kind of tough. I mean, it's like
Oh my gosh, it is.
most people suck pretty much a lot for like the first like 50 hours or something.
I gotta say, I started picking up the electric bass recently, and it's been so much fun. And it makes me think that all of y'all saxophonists out there, boy, if that was the instrument that we all picked up, yeah, it's like really hard with the blowing and the reeds and the mouthpiece. I think that says something about the type of people that we are.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? That means we're achieving greatness. We're searching for greatness, perhaps, because we go for the harder thing. Although I mean, not to say bass guitar, the other instruments are really hard too. But I think just getting a good sound and everything it takes to like play a wind instrument is pretty demanding. I mean, brass instruments are crazy demanding too. But
Yeah, it the From what I've gathered from my observation, hanging with a lot of brass players, I've always been really tight with a lot of brass players. There's an element of pain that doesn't exist for sax players.
The red just
Yeah,
like that is so unattractive to me. There is no part of me that would
yeah,
want to play a brass instrument and literally have like a permanent and I'm saying this very lovingly and admirably to any brass players in the house. Y'all are that's some commitment. I don't
yeah,
I mean saxophone at least your chops don't like hurt in that way.
yeah. With saxophone, you'll never get the same type of volume or yeah, the loudest sax player will never be as loud as the loudest trombone player
True.
forever. Like
That's
there's
true.
no competition there. Um, but yeah, but we get to play infinitely. Like as far as chops being dead for me, like that's not. It's like I could play for 7 hours and like it'll hurt, but I could still keep playing. Like I could play probably for many many hours. It'll hurt, but I could still do it. You know what I mean? Like
Different than playing lead trumpet for 7 hours.
yeah, like yeah, you have to really pace your. You have to pace yourself in a different way with brass. It's very very different
Yeah.
beast, and it's weird too because all everybody's different too. You know, everybody's different. So
Yeah. Someone's asking, is there any advice that we have for getting back into playing after not playing for 3 to 4 years? I would say you want to start, even if it's, 5, 10 minutes of long tones a day. You want to kind of get your tone back. You want to get the sound first, and then you can start to integrate scale stuff. Um, but working your way, it we do have built up muscles within our embouchure, so that's probably the thing you want to start focusing on is developing your sound after getting back to it.
yeah, I would also say try to play once you get your sound together a little bit. Start to play some stuff that you just like playing that's like easy and simple, just to get the joy back in it. You know,
That
because that can be like a snowball that a joy snowball.
a joy snowball. Yeah, it'll also make you want to practice more because
Yeah,
you just feel motivated. Like it's like, oh right, this is fun.
yeah.
Speaking of motivation, someone had a question earlier of how do you stay motivated? And this is a question I've been seeing come up a lot, especially during this, quarantine and these times where we're on the screen so much. Anybody, can anyone relate? I certainly have felt my motivation up and down and up and down. Lots of hearts going on. So let's speak on this for a second of how do you get your motivation back up, or what do you do when you don't feel motivated?
Um, you're asking me or you're asking
I
everybody?
think we
Sorry.
could just jam on it. I'm also thinking,
Oh,
I think we should just, yeah, like, do you have what happens when you're not feeling, is that ever a thing? Do you ever not feel motivated? And do you have a process that you go through to get unstuck?
um, well, sorry, it's just like a complicated question.
It is, or any piece of that.
Yeah, it's like I feel not motivated all the time. Like I feel, to be honest, I don't want to get out of my bed 100% of days that exist.
Really?
Yes. In
Wow.
the morning, I don't want to get out of my bed.
That
Like
would not strike me at all for you. That's so interesting and also makes me feel better about the fact that I feel similarly, especially this last week.
100% of days, I don't want to get out of bed. I just I
Hmm.
want to sleep. I
It's
love
just
sleeping.
so nice to be in bed.
I want to sleep in. I
Yeah.
mean, that being said, like I'll be working on projects late at night and not want to go to sleep. So that's kind of just how my body works. Like once the momentum's going, I'm like boom, 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 boom. Like I can stay up all night working on shit. But
Hmm.
um, I I I try to just I don't know. I just try to make myself get to it, and like I make goals I think
Goals.
goals help a
That's really
lot.
important. Yeah. Like that helps me too.
I think goals help a lot. Like, honestly, it's funny you were talking about Doja Cat because I made this like say so video.
You did?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I just got finished with it like literally
Awesome.
like not 5 seconds ago because I was here 5 seconds ago, but right before this, I got done with it.
17
Um,
seconds ago.
and I definitely had a lot of issue getting it done. Like sometimes that's like the worst is just like finishing a product and not wanting to. I just like my head's everywhere, so I just start this, start that, start the,
Yep.
Um,
So I know exactly how that goes. Yes.
so uh, with this, I just had to like. Sometimes you have to just force yourself. You're just like, I'm gonna sit here. Like the way I look at it is like, I'm gonna sit here, and I'm gonna edit this video. Like, if it's not good
Hmm.
editing, if I don't use it, if whatever, I'm just gonna sit here and do that. Like, you can make the decision to physically work on something. Um, and I'm not like whatever. Everyone can think of it how they think of it, but when I'm like I'm just too tired or I'm just blah blah, it just that just isn't a valid excuse. You can just force your body to do it, and I don't think it's that terrible because then I always end up feeling better afterwards, even
That's
when
the
I talk.
thing.
Yeah,
I feel
because
so similarly. It's like, okay, maybe something you can all try the next time you feel stuck with practice or whatever is just say, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. Like, just start. Because I find a lot of times it's the noise in my head that just makes me tired. And if you can just do a little goal. I was actually reading something, the great producer Rick Rubin, um, he had a statement in Tim Ferriss's book about making tiny goals, and he was saying how he was working with a songwriter once who was hadn't written songs in a really long time, just super creative, super blocked with creativity. And he said, "You know what? Your homework assignment for tonight is to just come up with one word that you like." They were like writing a song, and he was like, "Your assignment is one word. Can you come back tomorrow with one word that you can commit to and that you like, not even one sentence?" And he's like,
yeah,
he's like, when you start to make these tiny goals, then the momentum helps, right? So he probably came back the next day, he or she, and had that word. So it's like, sometimes, when I feel overwhelmed, I tell myself, all right, I'm going to, yeah, literally like compose 8 bars or just practice like 8 bars. And then, like you said, um, I really do think it's harder to finish things, much harder to finish than start them. I mean, I got a million things started. I have content from like 3 years ago, but it's literally just being like, this is good enough right now. Like, and I keep telling myself, like, yeah, no, it needs a better mix, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, how much longer are you going to tell? I'm talking to myself here. How much longer am I going to keep saying that to myself? So it's kind of like, all right, this is getting done in an hour, and wherever it's at, press upload, Like,
yeah, exactly. Like the issue I had with this video was I was doing all the work for it, So like I had to set up my room in a way to film
mm-hmm.
and be playing the track on my computer and be changing my outfits and be checking it in between and be, you know what I mean? It was just like such a like crazy, you know, like not it's like be like doing like high quality videos with hiring lots of people to help and do it is one of my favorite experiences ever.
Yeah, because
Doing
everyone
every
has their role. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
everyone has a job, and you can just focus on doing the music and being the artist.
Yeah. Trying
Yeah,
to do it trying
glorious.
to trying to do it all by myself is like very just stressful. And when I like one of the issues is like I'm shooting it all like on a tripod. So then like when I go to check to see if it looks good, I'll like look at the little tiny square, like watch it, be like, oh, that looks good. And then I finish everything up, clean up my room because now I need to work on it. And then I get all the videos, and then I notice so many little details
Mm.
because when the screen is this big and you're looking at a computer, you're like, oh God, it's really obvious that there's like a random pair of pants in the corner that when I
Yeah,
was
right.
changing,
I've been
or
there too. God forbid everything's out of focus.
like
That
yeah, and it's
happened.
like yeah, or it's just exactly it looked really good in the little square, but when you
Right.
blow it up, it looks all weird. Like I just, it's like it's a hard. So then like now I'm sitting here editing all of it. I'm like I'm not gonna just reshoot everything because at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point
you
it's
gotta keep
just
moving.
like
So
whatever.
we want you to all know that we go through these things on a consistent basis of, of either frustration and motivation or lack of, and then finding a way to get through it. And yeah, I mean, I think somebody just said this is all really helpful. So, we could all think about this conversation the next time any of us are feeling like we need a little more encouragement, motivation. I'll also say, like, to your point, Leo, about having a crew, it's like I used to take that for, well, I've always really appreciated people who are working with me, but let's just say if that's one's regular, you can kind of take it for granted. And then suddenly we're here in quarantine, and like I have help because Pasha is like amazing at camera stuff and tech stuff, and even then I'm still frustrated at myself for like sound isn't right, or like also have a random pair of pants here and I'm sitting and editing it and just so frustrated because I don't know how to do certain text or whatever. And so but I think it's all a learning process, and for any of you that are struggling with practicing or whatever it is, just know you can offer yourself a little bit of kindness as well, because we're really good at beating ourselves up. I will say, just from looking at so many comments from all of you, you're hard
Yeah,
workers. You're like, it's just easy to beat ourselves up. So,
it's it's like I really love the I really love the phrase like tough love, like
hmm
because the word like love is in there.
hmm
And like that is what I want everyone to apply to themselves. It's like tough love. Like I do believe in that. I do believe in that like no, you're not too tired. You can do it. You
you
can work
can
on
do
this right
it.
now.
Yes.
You can. And
Push
it's
yourself.
about a positive way of thinking as opposed
Right.
to like a oh, I just can't I just can't. I just can't today. I just can't work on this. I just can't like it's
Yeah,
like
you can.
you just can't. You know, you really can.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good. I'm glad you're
and
pointing that out. That differentiation. The differentiation. I don't know how you say that word, but yeah.
yeah, because it's like don't be like mean to yourself, but like but you can be tough, you know, like just the word tough, you know, just that
hmm
feeling of like I can do this, I can come back. Um,
And you're in a point, like when you position it that way, when you're pushing yourself in a healthy way, you're really coming from an empowering place. I think when you say I can't, that's not really of emotional place of like taking the driver's seat. I
yeah,
think even if everyone says you can't and you think you can, I think there's always a way. You just got to go around. If you're like literally banging yourself against the wall and you keep like running into that same metaphorical wall 15 times, like don't keep running into the same wall. Try to like turn around or something. Like if you imagine the imagery of just this is you and this is the wall, but there's all this space around, just like go that way. But don't keep doing this. But
yeah,
I think we've all been there when we just are like so frustrated and you're like, I can't. But then you're like, yeah, you can. Just may have to do it differently.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, so hey, everybody, super, super cool. Just like jamming on this very hot topic, I'd say, about motivation. For those of you who this question, keeps popping up in your practice routine, or if you're trying to get back on the on your sax game, did want to kind of just tell you guys about a really cool piece of content if you're not aware of it. The two of us did some teaching with Yamaha Australia the other week. And we had some really talented students who sent in videos and we did critiquing sessions with them. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Let me share a clip right now, um, just to show you guys a little bit of. This was Jasmine. She was playing Misty. And we did some. Oh, that was where you were. That's where you were talking to her about performance, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like expression and yeah. So great tips. And then we also had Amelia play. She nailed it. She was playing "Things Ain't What They Used to Be." Some Johnny Hodges. Girl. We did some talking, putting in some work. Firstly, I think you did a fantastic job transcribing Hodges, and then, but anyways, we had some great.
Part of music, like whenever you're going to see a show, you say, I'm going to go see a show, right? You never say, I'm going to go hear a show. So it's really important. Visuals are actually just as important as the musical element. So I feel like if you memorized it.
And then we had Gianni played some Charles Mingus. So check it out. We will put the link in our stories and on the YouTube video. But it was like we actually got time to go through. Well, we did a whole 30 minutes of teaching up front, and then we did, I think, another 30 minutes of critiquing those three really talented cats who all had prepared songs. And I think we gave a nice array of critiques ranging from the playing, their stage performance. Also loved how at the end, Leo, you started to go into the history as well of Goodbye Pork Pie Hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool.
It's cool to know the background.
Really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to study the history of Mortal Kombat a lot before I did that performance. I had to play for hundreds of hours. It was really tough.
Love that. Hey, it gives you, yeah, a deeper connection to song. I'm sure your performance benefited.
I might have to play some Mortal Kombat tonight just to get it back in my head.
Yep, yep.
That's no wonder Charlie writes all those video games.
Yeah, he needs you fill up on the inspiration. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm actually going to the studio on Wednesday. What's today? Today's.
It's Friday.
Yeah, next Wednesday, I'm going to the studio to record some stuff for the 8 Big Band.
Are you guys, is the band gonna be live?
No, but I'm recording it like from a studio remotely.
Yeah, yeah. Doing the solo part.
Doing the solo part, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Can't wait.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, shout out to the 8-Bit Big Band. They're awesome.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Well, let's all meet next week. We'll give you a heads up on time, and remember to send in those 1-minute video clips. And this is your time to get our feedback. And we do feature a few videos and give you our honest critiquing. All right. Well, have a great rest of the day.
Peace.
Bye.